is happening? Eighth grade. Here we are on this beautiful Sunday, sitting outside. It's 95 degrees. I'm looking at the peach tree over there, thinking about making some cobbler because I need it, right? But sitting back there's the avocado tree. I enjoy my avocado toast. I was thinking about you guys. I know you're all doing your videos, and this will be my last YouTube video for you guys until you move on to high school, where you're all ready because you are some of the smartest kids I know, and I'm proud of you. It has been quite the year. Historical as everybody's saying, but you got to think back at your year and say this is definitely something that I will always remember and tell my kids one day. When they start complaining about graduation, you're like, hey, I had a drive-by graduation in eighth grade, which I thought was kind of cool. It was good to see all your faces. It was nice to see your families. I know it's not the perfect thing that you wanted, where everybody was walking down the aisle, but you cried. I saw you crying. It's okay to cry. If you saw tears in my eyes, those were tears of happiness because you're finally getting out of here, and I miss you guys. I'd be honest with you, and especially some of you boys that like Zach Maltez. I know. Always Mr. First turn in his assignment. Good job. But today's YouTube video, it's nothing about well, it is history, but it's fun history. I wanted you to understand what graduation is. I want you to understand what graduation is, and I want you to know the history of it, because you will be going through several graduations, several that are probably a lot more important than this one, but not as special as this one. So I hope y'all saw me at Mass doing the lecturing. I went there because I wanted you to see me. I know I look good. So let's talk about graduation. What is graduation? Graduation is the award of a diploma or an academic degree or the ceremony that is sometimes associated with it. Now, you didn't get an academic degree, but you did get a diploma because you're moving from eighth grade into high school. Excellent. And you're now a graduate. Well, not yet. Soon. I make that point because you are not done yet. The date of graduation is, go figure, called graduation day, and the ceremony itself is called a commencement, coming from the word commence, meaning end. Okay, ceremonies for graduating students dates from the first universities in Europe in the 12th century. So people have been graduating since the 12th century. At that time, Latin was the language of the scholarship. So you guys don't speak Latin. I know a couple things in Latin. One of my favorite is Alud este de este. You know what that means, right? It is what it is. And here we sit. A universitas was a guild of masters, such as the MA that a lot of you will go on to get. And they were usually geared towards the license to teach. Degree and graduate come from gratis, meaning step. The first step was admission to a bachelor degree, which in 4 years you hopefully will move on to look for that gratis and move towards that bachelor degree, with the second step being your master's. And then if you go further, it's your PhD. Typical dress for graduation is the gown and the hood, or hats. You see, we've gone into the hat, the lid, the thing. Everybody decorates them now. I don't understand decorating, but I guess people decorate them now. My kids did. You look back at the cloak, the gown, and the hat, and that dates back to the Middle Ages, which was in turn based on the attire that was worn by medieval clergy. Diplomas didn't always have the prestigious decorated look they do now. Matter of fact, there's a long history to the actual diploma. The word diploma for graduation originated in the 17th century. Specifically, diploma means double folded paper, double folded paper, and Greek Latin. By definition, though, education institutes gave a diploma, certifying completion of a course of study. Unlike the cap and gown awarding a diploma to a graduate, that began in the United States. In America, the tradition of awarding graduates a diploma originated, can anybody guess? Harvard University, very good, where the first commencement took place on September 23rd in 1642. The nine graduates received a Book of Arts to represent their achievement. A Book of Arts. Here's a book. Congratulations. The funny thing is, as soon as the graduation was over, they had to return the book because they were very short on books, I guess. I don't know. Kind of funny. So when you guys graduate, I don't want your books back. I want your school books back, but I don't want like your stuff back. So original diplomas were made out of sheepskin because paper making was an arduous process back in the day. And if we remember, I believe it was Sai Lun of the Chinese descent who actually invented paper, one of the top five most famous people in the world, because without paper, we would be in a little bit of trouble. The school's presidents and other officials signed the diplomas, which were written entirely in Latin. Nobody understood it probably then. Older diplomas before the 1800s were all different shapes and sizes. Before the time of printed diplomas, if a graduate needed proof of having a Harvard degree, it was not a real simple process because all these people had to sign. Because you think back to that time, and they used to have to hire a calligrapher. Now, calligraphy is that beautiful writing and art, um, and they had to do it in Latin on parchment paper, and the graduate would have to pay for that. So I guess nothing's changed. You guys pay for your stuff too, but you choose to be here, and I'm glad you are. The first woman to receive a diploma was Catherine Elizabeth Brewer Bronson from Wesleyan College. It was also at that time known as the Georgia Female College, but now it's Wesleyan, and that's a very famous college. And that was in 1844. Excuse me, 1840. However, she wasn't the only one in her class. There were 11 other women who actually graduated with her, but Bronson, because of B, she was the first. Traditional garments that, when the early universities were still beginning to be formed, um, in Europe, they wore the gown and a hood. And the reason they wore a hood is because it was cold. Go figure. Now, you guys wear the cap, but as you get higher up towards your PhD, you'll wear a hood. You get hooded, and believe me, it's not cold. It's not cold in those arenas. I've been to a couple of them. They're just long and tiring, but well worth it. Now, the old tossing of the cap, right? Everybody tosses their cap. I suggest you go out in the backyard and toss yours, and maybe videotape that and throw that around. But tossing of the cap, graduates tossing the caps in the air, actually originated with, can you guess? With the Naval Academy ceremony in 1912. When students of the academy graduated, they were no longer commissioned to wear their caps. So once you graduated from the Naval Academy, you didn't have to wear the cap, and they were throwing them in the air to symbolize completion. So we continue that tradition by throwing our caps up in the ground. My question is, how do you know which one's yours? Maybe that's why people decorate them now. Um, when you talk about some of these other things that are about graduation, I guess the biggest thing you think about is pomp and circumstance. You know that song. Pomp and Circumstance. Everybody does. Mr. Thompson would play it usually every graduation, if I recall, and you know how it goes. I think I can even find it here on my phone. Pomp and Circumstance is right here. Um, it's See if you can hear this. No, you can't, because my voice. But Pomp and Circumstance often plays in the background of graduations. Pomp and Circumstance. See, I played a little bit for you there, so you feel a little bit nicer and happier about your day because we're not together. We're not together physically, but mentally we are. In the heart we are. And when we talk about Pomp and Circumstance, it is the well-known graduation theme song, uh, and it wasn't even created for graduation. It was a 20th century composer named Edward Elgar who wrote it for King Edward VII. When Elgar received an honorary doctorate from Yale in 1905, the song played in the background, and because he made it, he composed it, somebody heard it, and then they played it, and then somebody else played it, and you know how the story goes on from there. Now everybody plays Pomp and Circumstance by Edward Elgar at graduations. So I would suggest you get on YouTube and play yourself Pomp and Circumstance and listen to it a little bit. There's no words to it, but I think you don't need words to something so beautiful. Now, when we're talking about graduating from eighth grade, that used to be one big deal. You know why? That used to be the biggest thing going, was graduating from eighth grade. Um, because that's back in the days, way back, that was the only graduation they were ever going to have. They didn't go to college. They didn't go to high school. They just worked. And in the 20th century now, many youngsters didn't even finish high school because they were expected to go work in the fields or factories or family businesses. Now you have the opportunity to move into high school. You're expected to go to high school. You're expected almost to go to college. And if you want to get into the field that you want to be in, you need to move into the masters. Well, guys, it's been real. It's been quite the 2 years with you. This one being the most interesting, I will say. Um, Soon, you'll be at your respected high schools, Damien, St. Lucy's, Claremont, Upland. You'll all go different places. And you make the most of wherever you are. See? Because the boat don't stop rocking just because there's some virus. You got to overcome. You have to work hard. You have to row with the oars that they were given to you. All these beautiful cliches that I could throw out there. But I wish you all the best. You know where I'm at if you need me. And enjoy your summer. Love you guys. God bless you. Take care. Hi, eighth grade. You are extraordinary. It's a word that I found that was kind of like defined you guys. You guys are close. You guys were achievers. You guys were always smiling. Every time you came in my class, you said hello. I'm going to miss those things. I'm going to miss the class discussions. I'm going to miss you guys eating in my class. I'm going to miss you guys just because you were one of my favorite classes. You have great potential. You have a future. Work hard. Remember, there are no office hours for champions. What does that mean? That means there's no time off, because in 8 years, you guys will be working full time. I love you guys. God bless you. Keep safe. Move on. Work hard. And always remember, if opportunity does not knock, build yourself a door.